Hi everyone, Mon here. Intuitive Soul Savant is the name of this channel. We're all soul savants if we're working towards becoming our best potential as human beings. Welcome back to the subscribers who have supported me on this channel. And yes, YouTube is a very interesting medium. There's no doubt about that. So please like and subscribe if you like what I bring to the astrological content world. I've been studying astrology a long time, along with numerology. And I was a spiritual seeker, but now I'm a spiritual finder. And it's been a very interesting 60 years. There's no doubt about that. Firstly, I want to apologise that it's actually Monday today. Please forgive me. I have transit Saturn squaring my natal Mercury in the 6th house. I have transit Mercury retrograde opposing my natal Sun, and I have the Sun opposing my natal Mercury. So I'll just wait for that chopper to fly over. I've just meditated this morning. I create a lot of energy, and every time I meditate and I'm in my light body and I'm projecting that light around the whole world and universe, I find that the skies have become very busy, which is very interesting to me because all eyes are on us. More so than we know. Okay, so so I've got a lot going on with Mercury, and I don't like my 12th house. It's the Cancer house, and for a very long time it was hidden. My emotions were locked down, and every time this year I struggle through July. It's the opposition to my natal Sun. So we all have certain months in the year that we find a little precarious to journey through, and it's a really good idea as an astrologer to know when those times are. I can tell you I do consultations, so I'm available for consultations. Just go into the description box and you'll hear all about it. See all about it. Okay, but you can email me anyway. I'm very open person. So let's get into the energies of this week. But firstly, I'd like to bring the word compassion to our consciousness. It's not easy times. I have all the tools in the book to be able to transgress these times. And it is uncomfortable. It's full of uncertainty. And what's called for now is compassion. Firstly, compassion for the self. If you can go deep into meditation, you'll become aware of the child within. And everybody has a child within. And that child within, if you were born in the 50s and 60s and even later, may be wounded, with the change of the times and the olden days paradigms of parenting and what have you. There's a lot of wounded children getting around on the planet in adult bodies. And it's very important that we touch that inner child because that inner child needs compassion. Everybody needs compassion. Here we are, in a life that doesn't seem fair, that the powers that be seem to be maneuvering us all into this section of life where, in the next 5-6 years, we may be asked to put a computer chip in our body so that we can access our finances at the bank. That's the goal. The light workers on planet, the old souls, the star seeds, humanity in itself would rather have freedom than be controlled by 1% of the very wealthy on the planet. And this is probably why my YouTube doesn't get shown around, because I speak out about these issues. But you all know, you watch the media. I don't watch the media. I've known about this for a very long time. And, you know, that inner child within us, he, you know, let's be honest, it's a scary time to be a human being. Not that scary as in the sense of the Second Great War, but financially, as far as having a little bit of real estate, a home, families have broken up. Look, there's just so much going on. But let's ask for compassion. Firstly, compassion for yourself for being a human in these times, and compassion for others. If you have family, your family, friends, compassion. It's not easy, and we need to talk about it, okay? It's no use disassociating and going, oh, it's okay, it's all right. Wow. You know, there's a lot of changes that have happened in the last 60 years of my life. But you know, we're being prepared for that for sure. Old souls, star seeds, light workers. You know, we come in with an awareness and we've awakened, right, to what's actually going on. And there's nothing that one of us can do on our own. It's a consciousness evolution, and all we can do is add to the consciousness in light language, in light, okay, light consciousness. All right, so we've got energy. For sure, there's always energy, but the energies that are happening at the moment, the astrology, please don't expect bangs and woohoo, this is happening and that happening. You know, July was always warned to be a very eventful month astrologically. However, the transits that are taking place are very, very, very slow. Okay, so we are in a time of paradigm changes for humanity in itself, but it will not happen overnight. And Neptune in Aries, when Neptune and Saturn conjunct at 0 degrees Aries this year, we knew we were heading into the energies of slow pivoting for humanity and change, okay? And we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know how all these energies fit together. I've been an astrologer for over 40 years, and nobody's seen these sort of energies. And if anyone tries to tell you that they know what's going on or what's going to happen, forget it. They don't. No astrologer knows. There's too much going on. Now, this week, as far as the outer planets, you know, we've just finished with Jupiter square Chiron. That was exact on the 2nd last week. It finishes it's all today, all right, but that was very important. Jupiter, early signs of Leo, squaring Chiron, early sign in the sign of Taurus. Chiron will retrograde back into Aries and then move forward again into Taurus to walk through the path of Taurus, which is our security. Okay, so there's a healing going to take place because our true security is within. Our connection to the divine, that is our true security. Our family aren't security. Money isn't security. Partners aren't security. Kids aren't security. Jobs aren't security. None of that. It's fake security, right? Because as soon as you lose your job, your family, your kids, your what have you, you are empty. You don't know life without those things that we take for granted. When I went through my Pluto transit, Capricorn, conjunct my Sun and Mercury, I lost everything that I took for granted. And if I could have that time back, wow, I would love that time back. But I lost everything because I took it for granted. I thought it was always going to be there. Well, I had to go through that dark night of the soul and learn that. Now I know that we cannot take anything for granted, okay, because it could be taken from you just like that. And that's what a Pluto conjunct the sun is like. It pulls the wool out from underneath you, okay? So let's not take what we love for granted, all right? So we're going to learn lots of messages as a collective as Chiron transits through Taurus, which will take time, right? Now, this week we've also got the energies right in orb to the 29th of July, and that's the nodes sextiling that Chiron in Taurus, okay? And the end, it's the end, the nodes are in the early degrees of Virgo and Pisces, okay, because they move the other way than the planets do on an astrology chart, right? The nodes are always going clockwise. Is that correct? Yes. Clockwise. Yes. We don't have clocks. We don't have many clocks anymore, do we? So, yes, the nodes sextiling Chiron, okay? Uranus sextiling Neptune. That energy is going to be around through till August. Uranus trine Pluto. That energy also is going to be around till August and repeat itself as well. Neptune sextiles Pluto. That will be around, this is just this year, okay, till the end of October, all right? So those energies are playing in the background. Node sextile Chiron for this month. Uranus sextile Neptune into August. Uranus trine Pluto into August. Neptune sextile Pluto end of October. Now, it's all around the 4 degrees mark as well, right, with Uranus, Neptune and Pluto. And also we've got that Jupiter that's moved into Leo, so the Jupiter will oppose Pluto. So now can you see why nobody knows, right? And if anyone tells you, just change channels, all right, because nobody knows. They're slow-moving planets. They are in trine and sextile to each other, which are energies. With the trine energy, it's always between the two elements, right? So say an earth with an earth is a trine. The sextile is a different element but a compatible element. So the sextile needs action, needs to take action. So there you go. Astrology key. Trines are the same element. Earth to earth, fire to fire, water to water, air to air. That's a trine. The sextile is the compatible element. So earth to water, fire to air, right? That's how we work it. So the trines, because they're both, say, earth to earth, same element, well, that's a flowing aspect. With the sextile, because it's, say, earth to water, which it's not, it's fire and air, okay? So fire and air, one of those elements has to be activated, all right? And we activate that energy, right? We can sit back and just watch it all happen, or we can get involved, okay? So similar with the square. The square, you know, there's got to be action taken. The square becomes so uncomfortable that action is then taken, all right? So that's this that's going on and that all the astrologers are talking about. But we don't know because it's going to go on into the 2030s. So we're living it now. So keep yourself clean. Go within, heal, comfort that inner child. Let that inner child know that it's safe, that you as the adult and connection with divine has that, it's all protected. We are protected, okay? Acknowledging that strengthens that energy, all right? Awareness of that. So on Saturday, we had Mars conjunct Uranus. Okay, that was in the afternoon here, Sydney time, Saturday. And that was at 3 degrees and 52 minutes. Okay, Sunday morning, I woke up at 2 a.m. and couldn't get back to sleep. So I couldn't make a video yesterday. It feels like you're hungover when you haven't got enough sleep, and that's how I felt. So that Mars conjunct Uranus, ping, had me waking up. I wasn't thinking about anything. There wasn't anything that I had to think about. But I just got up and I got up at about 4 o'clock and started my day, because there was no use laying there. So that was Saturday, that Mars conjunct Uranus, which is an activation. Mars is always an activation. And we are going to see Mars conjunct Uranus a few more times, at least another 2. I haven't looked into the future. Mars takes about 2 years to go around the zodiac. We know that Uranus is in Gemini for 7 years, so that's why I'm saying another 2 times Mars will conjunct Uranus. Now, this is at that 4 degrees, okay? So I've done a video on the 4 degrees. It's in line there that you can go back to that. It's all over the internet anyway, okay? This is what we're talking. The sign of the times is 4 degrees. Okay, and go to your chart. This is really important to see what's getting activated in your chart. Now, my north, that's probably why I woke up as well, is because my north node is 3 degrees, 30 minutes, 3 seconds. And Mars conjuncted Uranus at 3 degrees, 52 minutes. Very close, okay? So I can't even tell you. That's in my 10th house of career. I can't even tell you, what that's all about yet, because, we've got Neptune at that 4 degrees, which is sextiling my north node. We've got Pluto there at 4 degrees in Aquarius, which is trining my north node, and then Jupiter's going to be sextiling my north node. Nothing has happened. Okay, nothing was happened. The biggest thing that happened was I was woken up at 2 o'clock in the morning. And even with my north node being activated, this is slow moving energy. All right, transformational, there's no doubt about that, but slow. All right. So also on Saturday, the energy came in for Mars squaring the nodes. Okay, so Mars early degrees of Uranus in Gemini squared those first degree of the Virgo and Pisces axis. All right. So the nodes are going to be moving out of the Virgo Pisces axis and will be going into the Leo Aquarius axis. It'll be another year or so before they get to the 4 degrees. All right. But this is all building piece by piece by piece by piece. God is an architect. And everything's a clock. That when I first started studying astrology, it was like a clock to me, and each hand was moving around the clock, activating different energies. So that's Mars in Uranus, squaring those nodes in the early degrees. It's not the end of, but it's the end of that cycle, okay? But the nodes move backwards. They move from 30 degrees to 0 degrees, okay? So there was a bit of activation there, last bit of activation for the Pisces and Virgo axis, all right? And that is a strong axis. That's your spirituality and your earthliness, okay? And how much earthly good are we? Too spiritual, not enough earthly good. No spirituality, chaos to the earth, all right? Because it's imbalanced energy. So Sunday, which was yesterday here in Australia, we had that Mars sextile Neptune. Exactly. Now, Neptune's an outer planet. Mars is one of our personal planets and the activator. And that was at 4 degrees, 47 minutes, right? That was exact yesterday morning here in Australia. So that would have been very early in the morning, Northern Hemisphere on Sunday, or the late Saturday evening, Mars sextile Neptune, exact. and we will get a few more of those with Mars. Mars trined Pluto yesterday here in Australia at 4 degrees 47 minutes, okay? So Mars is activating the Neptune, activating the Pluto. Now, yesterday, today actually, Monday here, and it hasn't happened yet, it's later in the evening, so that'll be very early Monday morning for the Northern Hemisphere. The Sun squares Saturn. The Sun in Cancer squares Saturn in Aries. Right? That's all about the discipline of the self. The Sun is shining a light on our home, our family, our inner child, mothering our inner child, the nurturing of ourself. All right, we are very good at projecting out onto others when it comes to family, because family is part of our security to date. All right, to date. In the Aquarian age, family will not be as important, so it won't be as important in the Aquarian age, okay? Because Aquarian likes individuality and freedom to be the self. I have Mars and Venus in Aquarius, so I can tell you that for sure. I can tell you exactly how Aquarians like to do relationship, because they're both in my 7th house, right? So the Sun in Cancer square Saturn in Aries, all right? So you might feel that energy because it is a square. You know, do I have to sacrifice something in my family, Sun in Cancer, from, you know, to protect myself, Saturn in Aries? Or do I have to discipline myself, Saturn in Aries, to, you know, make family a priority? Or, you know, is there something I've got to do for the family, but I don't really feel like doing that? You know, there's a bit of a schism today between the family and Saturn. The Sun squaring Saturn. And in my meditation this morning, I'm Saturn ruled, and my chart is ruled by the Sun, right? You know, it was a little uncomfortable in my meditation this morning. You know, of course, all that Mercury stuff going on in my chart, but yeah, it was a little tricky, and family did come to mind, even though we've been estranged for, you know, nearly, God, I don't know how long it's been, but it's been over 5 years, you know, and they come to mind. They still come to mind. That's how ingrained family are, you know, in the consciousness. So even though we're not together, they're still there in the consciousness. You know, in the work of the spiritual finder, seeker, whatever you want to call it, is compartmentalizing that and knowing what is you and what is structure, you know, conditioning, because we've all been conditioned to put family first. We even have a political party here in Australia called Family First. Right? I don't know whether it's still ongoing, but the lady that started it, yeah, she's pretty full on in the political arena at the moment, and she reminds me of a female Trump. She reminds me of a female Trump, and she's trying to get in there and up there to be the Prime Minister, but we'll see. She reminds me of a female Trump, you know, very rude and aggressive. Anyway, that's Australian politics for you. So that's today, Monday the 6th. We've got the Sun square Saturn. So if you're feeling a little uncomfortable, that is what it will be. The Sun and Saturn, they're both, they compete with each other, those two energies. If you think of the Leo and the Capricorn, you know, they're both leaders. They're both strong energies. And in a square, you know, it's a little uncomfortable, very uncomfortable. So that's today, Monday. Neptune stations retrograde this week as well, and that happens Tuesday, tomorrow. And Neptune will station retrograde at 4 degrees and 25 minutes. It will go retrograde, station direct in December on the 13th. Okay, so Neptune is doing its first retrograde in Aries. So we're going to go back over any revelations from Neptune being in Aries, anything that we've introduced as far as being spiritual practices, because Saturn is there with Neptune. Structure, spiritual practices, the discipline to do so. We'll be going back over that area and we'll be able to assess and adjust and change, So that's that energy comes in today. Neptune's so slow moving, it's already stationed. It's not going to move any more degrees, okay? But it's at that 4 degrees, that Neptune. So as it retrogrades, yes, it's going to hit Pluto and, and Uranus at 3 degrees, it's all going on. It's all going on in the background, okay, like a choir. And we've just got to undergo it. We just got to live it, right? And there's not much that we can do other than raise the frequency of our own selves, and then that harmonically will conjoin with the rest of those that are raising their frequency. All right. And we have that choir going on. All right. So nothing here on Wednesday as far as exact transits. On Thursday, nothing as far as exact transits, but we do have Venus trining Chiron, and we have Venus opposite the nodes. All right. So that tells us on Friday, Venus ingresses into Virgo, right? And we'll be in the early degrees of Virgo, trine Chiron, oppose the nodes. So this Thursday and Friday, right, into the next weekend, we've got these Venus aspects. Now, you'll hear astrologers say Venus doesn't like being in Virgo. Well, why? Okay, so something that when you've been studying astrology for a long time, you will see the pattern. The month before our birthday, our energy is waning, right? So the sun, we have our birthday, the sun conjuncts our natal sun, okay, our birthday, the return of the sun, right? And so once that sun's gone around our astrological chart and comes to the sign before our birthday, right? You could call it 28 days before your birthday. You're going to feel weak. We're waiting for that sun to come back to relight us, to re-energize us. So the month before our birthday, be kind to yourself. Don't expect too much of yourself. Take it easy, because the sun is going to be regenerated on your birthday. So back to Venus. Venus is very comfortable and rules Libra, okay, and Taurus, all right? But let's talk Libra first. So when Venus enters into Virgo, it's not quite back home yet. It's not in its strength yet, okay? Venus is that air energy, and then it grounds itself in Taurus, okay? But, Venus in Virgo is too strict, too judgy. And poor Venus, she don't want to be judgy, because she wants to be in relationship with everybody. And she will even be passive aggressive rather than cause any conflict in her relationships. So when Venus gets into Virgo, there's judgment there, there's perfectionism there, there's health consciousness there. And Venus actually likes to enjoy food and wine and having a good time and laying around, and so does Taurus, and enjoying the good things of life. So when Venus gets into Virgo, it's very, she's not, she doesn't act out, but she's not very comfortable, and she's looking very much forward into ingressing into Libra. So that happens, the start of next week, that Venus ingressing into Virgo, and she'll be trining that Chiron early degrees of Taurus, okay? So that might be a nice time because Taurus is ruled by Venus. So that trine is easy energy, Venus in the earth sign Virgo, trining another earth sign, those two elements, of Taurus, all right? So that energy is actually quite nice and could present some windfalls, all right? That Venus trine Chiron, that's in the afternoon Friday here, so early Friday morning, late Thursday evening for you in the northern hemisphere. And then not long after that Venus trine Chiron, Venus opposes the nodes, right? So Venus in Virgo will be conjuncting the south node and opposing that north node of Pisces, all right? So Virgo doesn't want to sit down and meditate that day. Virgo would rather go to the gym, clean, do something practical, and that's Virgo for you, all right? And Venus might be a little bit uncomfortable when it's conjuncting the south node and opposing the north node. So next Saturday, next weekend at this stage, we've just got the nodes sextiling Chiron again, and that's 33 minutes to 38 minutes, so it's 0 degrees, okay? So the nodes and Chiron are connecting, and it always happens a few times, the true node, okay? We've got 2 nodal passages, and different astrologers choose which they prefer, all right? I'm more about the true node. But there's not much between them. Do you know what I mean? There really isn't much between them, and the nodes are very much modern astrology. And I say modern as in the last 50 years, easy, the last 50 years, yeah. All right, along with Chiron, all right, the nodes sextiling Chiron. We're really just looking at this in the last 60 years astrologically. Modern astrology. Okay, so that's what the week is. There's no big time, just Neptune stationing retro, but it's not big time because it's already been stationary. It's already been pulling up, okay? And the Mars activations and that choir humming along underneath, which is the trines and the sextiles with the outer planets, okay? And that's what we're working with. And really, we can't quantify what that is yet, because Pluto in Aquarius is the collective. So it requires our consciousness as individuals to come together as to where this is going to take us. And that's why it's very important at this time in our lives to be meditating, to be raising our frequency. Here they come again. I'm not far from the airport, see, and I come and they're actually doing circles over my place. And that's because, I don't know, I've got this funny idea that when I meditate and I'm in my light body and I'm projecting so much energy that they must have some sort of infrared devices or something like that. Call me crazy, but I've been watched for a lot of years now, and I did quieten right down because I was sort of out there a bit. And I don't want them on my back. I just want to meditate every day. All right, my loves, that's it. Thank you for forgiving me for not being here on Saturday. The mind can't do it at the moment, and I'm very much go with the flow of energy, new paradigm. Okay. All right, my loves, namaste, and thank you very much, and I will see you next week. All right, bye.